the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Bauer.
Here.
Freeholder Johnson.
Here.
Freeholder Jones. Here. Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Mercado.
Here.
Freeholder Pomares.
Here.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Here.
Freeholder Siebel. Here. Freeholder President Gill.
Here. I'm going to ask you please stand to salute the flag. I'm going to ask Freeholder Johnson to lead us in the salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask that we please remain standing for a moment of silence. I have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Mr. President, there are none.
Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Mr. President, there are none.
Okay, let's move to public comment session on agenda items. Tonight's meeting is a combined conference board meeting, and we will vote on every item on the agenda. So if there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any agenda item, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, if there is any member of the public who would like to comment on any issue, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record. Again, you will have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that there's no one wishing to speak at this time. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions for introduction and first reading?
Mr. President, there are none.
Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinance or resolution for listing purposes only?
Mr. President, we have one. Ordinance number O-2018-0007, bond ordinance appropriating $75,000 proceeds of obligations and certain other funds not needed for the original purposes and to be used for the redevelopment of Essex County College 2018-2023 Facilities Master Plan.
Madam Clerk, you can list ordinance O-2018-00007 for public hearing at our April 25th meeting. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolution on second reading and public hearing tonight?
Mr. President, we have none.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolution number 1. Please read it.
Resolution 1, advice and consent nomination for the appointment of Anthony E. Monroe, doctor, to the Essex County Workforce Development Board.
Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk, you're not Mr. Jackson?
I am not, no, I am not Mr. Jackson, Mr. President.
Can you please explain the resolution? Not Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, I am Julius Coltree, Deputy County Administrator. Mr. Jackson is the President of Essex County College, and the administration has put forth his name for the Workforce Development Board, and Dr. Monroe is here to introduce himself.
Excellent.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to first thank the Essex County Executive, Joe DiVincenzo, and the entire Essex County Board of Freeholders for this esteemed honor of appointing me to this important body, the Essex County Workforce Development Board. As you know, Essex County College has been at the forefront for many years, and so has this county in providing job training and retraining for our residents. For the past 50 years, Essex County College has never wavered from its commitment to serve all the residents of our great county Our college is ready to serve our residents, from those seeking an associate's degree before moving on to those who require specific job and career training. Together with our wide array of resources, we are well positioned to assist anyone requiring our training programs to succeed. I want to thank you for considering my appointment and know that we will continue to do wonderful things as we exceed expectations. I thank you for this opportunity and look forward to serving the County of Essex.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Do we have any questions or comments from the Freeholder Board? Vice President Richardson.
Yeah, I have a comment. While I haven't known Dr. Monroe very long, we've had several meetings. We've talked here and away from here on a variety of issues, and I know you're going to do a wonderful job on this particular board. I look for great things from you here in Essex County, so we're glad to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Freeholder Siebel.
Thank you. I'd also like to add to that, Dr. Monroe, I wish you the very best at the county college. I know you're a fairly recent appointment, and I believe it's a difficult job, and I know you're going to be wonderful, so I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much, Madam Freeholder.
Freeholder Jones.
I too would want to congratulate you for being the president of Essex County College. I sat on one of the boards with you, and I'm very impressed. I know you know your job, and you know what it takes in terms of educating our community. And if there's anything I can do as a freeholder, I'll be more than happy to facilitate and to make sure you're successful in leading that body of students.
Thank you, Freeholder Jones.
Freeholders, any additional questions or comments? Just to say congratulations, Dr. Monroe, and you know, I think it's important to point out, and I know I mentioned it when we had an opportunity to meet, but in your position as the president of the college, I've been a member of this board since 2012, and you are the first person who held that position to reach out and to ask to meet with me in my capacity as a freeholder. And that alone, I think, says a lot about your leadership style and your willingness to recognize the role that this board will play in the ultimate success of your day job. And we thank you for taking on this role as well with the county. So with that, do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Vice President Richardson, second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolution number 2, actually 2 through 4, which I believe are Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. Also, Madam Clerk, I think we have 2 added starters, and 38 and 39, which are also in the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. And if Mr. Zeitz will promise that he's not going to retire tomorrow, we will afford him this opportunity to actually move 38 and 39 after we do 2 through 4, so he does not have to wait until we finish the meeting, although I know he does enjoy staying for the whole show. The whole show.
There's nowhere I'd rather be on a Wednesday.
You're not going to know what to do with yourself tonight.
So, Mr. President, do you want me to read them all straight through or one at a time?
Why don't we take them one at a time?
Okay,
But we'll do 2 through 4 and then 38 and 39.
I got it. Resolution 2, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract extension to ARF Rental Services to furnish and deliver rentals of portable sanitation units for Essex County Parks, April 1st, 2018 through May 31st, 2018, $31,736.48.
Mr. Coltry, can you please explain the resolution?
This resolution is an extension of the original bid. We have originally gone out to bid for additional services for the next 2 years, but to have continuity, we have a 2-month extension on the older resolution. Mr. Zais is here to explain anything else.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. As Mr. Coltry explained, this is really just a holdover of the current contract until a new contract's in place. With the weather hopefully getting nicer and certainly our Cherry Blossom Festival, we will be needing these various porta-johns.
Very good. Mr. Parlavecchio.
Yeah, Mr. Coltry, is the bid out for the new bid out already?
Yes, the bid has also come back already, and it's just being reviewed by the Department of Parks.
Okay, so that will come, the new contract will come before the board, presumably sometime in May or so?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions, Mr. President.
Okay. Freeholders, do we have any questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold, second by Freeholder, I did not hear the second. Mercado? Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can we please move to resolution number 3?
Resolution 3, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Professional Services Agreement to provide graphic arts and design services, Irish Communications, 1-year agreement from date of award, amount not to exceed $121,200.
Okay, Mr. Coltry.
This was a publicly advertised fair and open RFP and graded, and Irish Communications came out with the highest score. Iris Communications is a WB and a small business, and Mr. Zates is here to explain the rest of the process.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. As Mr. Coltry stated, this is for the graphic design services throughout the park system. We do have Barbara here from Irish Communications if the board has any questions.
Barbara Bochis, Iris Communications. Just wanted to express my thankfulness and gratitude to the freeholders and Joe DiVincenzo for allowing me once again the opportunity to work with the county and the Parks Department. We are a WBE certified through the state of New Jersey, but we have just received our WOSB through the federal government. We are now a women-owned small business certified through the federal government. We take pride in the fact that we are a women-owned business, as well as 75% of my staff is all Essex County residents, as well as I am. And I brought today some of the latest, hot off the presses, graphic design collateral that we have just done.
Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
This was the highest proposed amount among 7 vendors that submitted. The score was significantly higher than the others. So I would just ask the administration, for the record, what was the overwhelming difference with this vendor than the other vendors that made up for the larger dollar amount?
This is usually scored by the department, Josh.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. Yes, there was an evaluation committee who ranked this one the highest. I will say that although monetarily it is the highest, it is only the highest by about $2,000.
No, there's other ones lower than that, but I'm asking more specifically, of the evaluation that you did, I know they run that, if you want to put it in those terms, but what was the feature of the evaluation that put them ahead of all the others?
I believe it was a number of things. It was past experience, graphics. The various firms would submit examples, various things such as that. Specifically, I don't really recall.
Okay, well, so they have more experience with Essex County as well, and
Yes, I believe this is sixth year they've been working with us.
okay. Thank you very much.
Freeholder Siebel?
Thank you. Since Iris Communications began working for the county, we have such an improvement in the work that's being done. And I'm really thrilled that you're going to continue because the work that you do is absolutely excellent in terms of Essex County and the park system.
Thank you. My company was founded on the premise that we are all advertising senior executives. And one thing I'd like to also express to you, that I am so grateful to the county because at the age of 55, my career had to take a different turn, and I consider some of the things that the county has afforded me is the opportunity as an older citizen and a company owner to have the opportunity to work with such a wonderful community as the county. You are, and we're such marketing experts, I consider us to be leaders in our field, that I wanted to, when I started my company, stay in the county, and when I had the opportunity to work with Essex, I've never left them. I do the majority of the leadership work for them. I'm thankful that you see our expertise. We work very hard. We are marketers. And the county, with Turtleback Zoo, you have such an amazing, and South Mountain Recreation Complex, you have taken a gem, and it needs, I believe, the expertise that we have so that the citizens, the residents of Essex County, but also the residents all throughout New Jersey, have this mecca, this diamond to go to. So we take our work incredibly serious. I am incredibly grateful, and I work to exceed and surpass expectations, and I hope you can see that in our work.
Freeholders? Freeholder Luciano?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, I just wanted to put on the record that Iris has been with us for a while, and a couple of years ago, our board had some requests of edits and some changes, and we do see those edits and changes, and we want to say thank you for including the freeholders in a more visible manner within the pamphlets and your design. And I'm also wanted to put on record that, I'm excited to say that you're not only just a women-owned business, you're from Essex County, and I know that you also reside in my district, so I'm very proud to see that and the opportunity that we can give you. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Freeholders? So, just this particular mailing, this has already been sent, right? This one that's been?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, because it's for this weekend and this past weekend. So, just more of a comment and a request, and having, heard from some of my other colleagues as well, that, no issue with the quality of the work and the design, of the work at all. I think it's important, and I can speak for the board, that we maintain our identity as well, the co-equal branch of government within these events. And I think we would love and are open to recommendations on, how we can more actively participate in the development of these materials before they go out. And maybe that's happening, so I put that on the record to say maybe there is a little more that I'm unaware of, and if there is, that's, then I need to do my own homework on that particular issue. But, even, thumbing through the magazine, I think we have some thoughts and ideas about, how we can participate that in a little bit in terms of, in terms of the board
Sure.
itself. And, I think we've started to address that, and I know a couple of years ago, those issues were raised, and there's been efforts to do that, and we want to, I think, continue and grow that.
I absolutely hear you. One thing I'd like to express, we have a catalog that we'll be putting back out, and we included the president, the freeholders message in that as well. I've made it a point of making sure that all of the freeholders are listed in all the pieces. The postcard went out prior to, but I think Freeholder Bauer joined the Freeholder Board, but the Bloomfest brochure has been updated to have the most current list of freeholders. So I hear you, and I will make it my business to make sure that we try very hard to communicate with you and get you involved. Graphic design and marketing is a collaborative process.
Sure.
We welcome, I always want to hear and take your vision and your requirements or your wants and make it and produce beautiful, entertaining, impactful pieces. So I take that seriously.
I appreciate that, and again, I think whether it's a message from the board, we have a very modest board too, but I'm sure I'm sure we wouldn't mind headshots as well now and then, so the community can identify
Yeah.
who their representatives are on this board, and within your plan, of course, to market, because it's not about the individuals or even the county executive or the freeholders. It's about the events that the county's putting on. But we have, I think, are always looking to increase the opportunities to make sure that people know who their representatives are, and this is an opportunity to do that. I saw Vice President Richardson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I too want to echo the sentiments of all my colleagues, and I also want to commend you for hiring Essex County residents.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, 100%. And again, the work is excellent, so we're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments? Do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Sebald.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Luciano. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebald.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can you please read resolution number 4?
Resolution 4, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract award to GSP Properties, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide maintenance and restoration of custom signs in various parks throughout Essex County, April 8th, 2018 through March 7th, 2020, amount not to exceed $340,330.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Coltree.
This is a contract with GSP Properties, and they were the sole bidder out of 29 vendors. This is also a woman-owned business who is in the process of getting her certification as a WBE. And Josh Zaitz is here to explain.
Joshua Zaitz, Essex County Parks. As Mr. Coltree said, this is for our customized signs that are throughout the park system. They're the really nice wooden decorative signs you see, usually when you enter the park or sometimes to designate a specific playground. And we do have Michelle here to talk about the contract if you have any specific questions.
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Michelle Jensen, owner of GSP Properties. As Josh mentioned, this is for the rehabilitation of the gold leaf wooden signs throughout Essex County parks. I want to point out, it's a per unit contract on an as-needed basis, and that's based on the request made by the Parks Department. The scope for each includes the following. Signs are removed and brought back to the shop. They are cleaned, they are repaired, they are primed, painted, and then when they're all complete, they are reinstalled. So I'm happy to take any questions that you may have. That's just a quick synopsis.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
So there's 93 signs that are listed in the decision.
That's correct.
So it's up to the county to say that any one of those signs has to be refurbished.
That's correct.
Be all of them, or we have them, or-
It could be none of them.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Freeholder Jones.
I'm just concerned that you've given them a set amount of money for the signs. Now, what happens if we don't need the maintenance for an entire year? What happens then with this particular contract?
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. Since it's an as-needed contract, if none of the signs need to be replaced, then we would spend none of the money. If only 2 signs need to be fixed or maintained, we would pay whatever it is for the 2 signs. So the contract, the amount of the contract is the most we could possibly spend, but that doesn't mean we would spend that much
You
at
know
all.
what my concern is, since you will be the person to ask or request a particular sign to be done, I was just thinking that they would, of course, as business people, would go to the different parks where those wooden plaques or signs for Essex County and try to retrieve, because this is a big contract annually. And
Yeah, well, I'm not 100% sure I'm understanding the question, but it would be on the Parks Department to notify the contractor that this particular sign needs to be replaced. So it wouldn't be the contractor going out and saying, we really need to do this. It would be the Parks directing them to make the
I just
changes.
want to make it perfectly clear to me. Okay.
Freeholder Stevel.
Thank you. Now that we have the customized signs made, it's made a tremendous improvement in the entire park system because they're all similar, they all look alike, and people who drive around see them and they know that they are representing something which is wonderful in terms of the constituents here in Essex County. So I think you're doing a great job in terms of the signs. They look really nice.
Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, President Gill. Josh, these are the signs that were made by the gentleman who passed away?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm that so that I could sort of give a little synopsis to the board members, especially the new board members, and to the vendor. We had a very special gentleman from Verona who handmade these signs. He had a small wood shop, and he worked tirelessly through the night sometimes to make sure that he was on time for a lot of Joe D's press conferences. I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman. I thought he was outstanding. Unfortunately, he has passed away, so you can't replicate his work, but what we can do is maintain it. So I just want to put on record to the rest of this board that these signs were all handmade by an Essex County man who's no longer with us, and he had a very unique style. He was very talented. So I do believe that whatever money is necessary to preserve what he created is definitely something I would support. And again, I just wanted to let the other board members, especially new board members, know the history behind these signs that are posted in just about every one of our parks.
Right.
McInerney.
I know I've asked this question before, and I apologize if the answer was given, but anything short of a total refurbishing, how would you charge for that? So in other words, does a sign that might be slightly damaged that we want to fix, doesn't need to be totally refurbished? Is there anything between there?
There's not. It's one unit price.
It's a one-unit price.
Can you repeat that for Freeholder?
My question was, and I had asked this question before, I believe the last time the contract was here as well, is there any unit price if a sign is not completely damaged, maybe, something happened to it where a piece fell off or something like that, there is no terms of this contract that would allow the vendor to go out there and just provide a repair. It's a whole refurbishing or nothing, the way the contract term is. And I just wanted to confirm that.
And the answer was, what was his answer?
The answer was, it's all or nothing. It's a refurbishing in full, for the full price.
But if I may, Joshua Zates, through you, Mr. President, it does work both ways, that although it is the same price for a little damage It's also the same price if the sign's totally destroyed, so you kind of got to see it from both ends.
Okay, I mean, that's the kind of, that was just, when this first contract first came to the board, just was a little surprised. It wasn't like a per unit charge, per hourly charge for those types of situations. But if you're saying that the county is able to monitor that to make sure that there's some sort of balance between what you just described, then I'm satisfied with that. I'll leave it to the board.
Freeholder Jones.
That was my concern, because, things happen in many areas, and we don't know what happened to the sign. So therefore, if a community or the particular sign is damaged, maybe I would say much less than, but in order to repair it, you must charge for the entire refurbishment of this plaque. Is that what you're saying?
Joshua Zay, Essex County Parks. So, Mr. President, yeah, that's the mechanism we have in order to fix the signs. But if it's the Parks Department going out and requesting that they be fixed from the vendor, we wouldn't just request that they fix it if there's a little nick or a scratch. It would be significant damage that we would have them come out and maintain the sign.
What I'm saying is, things occur. That's all I'm saying, in different communities. And this is a business. If it's worth us in terms of putting some type of stipulation into this contract that you don't have to get a 100% refurbished of the sign if someone knock a letter off or a mark or whatever, as opposed to doing the refurbishing of the whole plaque. That's my concern.
I would, honestly, I don't think I've ever
Sorry,
seen a
can you
case.
put your name on the record?
I'm sorry, Michelle Jensen, GSP. I'm not sure I've ever seen a case of, and you can tell me if this is inaccurate, of just a letter being knocked off. These signs, most of them that come to us need full restoration. And so it's not, I can't think of one case where we redid something that just had one letter that had to be fixed.
Well, Mandator, approximately how many of the signs will you fix within a year's time?
Last year, approximately 17 signs.
17
Yes.
signs had to be refurbished?
Yes.
100%?
Out of 93.
Out of 93?
Yes.
How much is the cost for the refurbishing of just one of those signs?
It depends on the type of sign, the double post, single
Talk about
face.
the big wooden one.
It depends how many posts, how many faces. I can read you each of the unit costs.
Okay.
So double post, single face, and the single post, single face are the most popular within the county. The cost per the double post, single face is $3,970. The single post, single face is $3,240. And then there are two other types, double post, double face, and single post, double face. The first is $4,240, and the single post double face is $3,740.
Okay, then my concern is, what you're saying is reasonable, but why would we allot such a over $250,000 and you only did 17 signs? This is my concern. 17, and you got, what, 300 and some odd $1,000? Go ahead, Mr. Go ahead.
Mr. President?
Yes,
Mr. President, can I get?
Please.
Because any one of those signs could be damaged. So you would have to include them all. You wouldn't have to repair them all. But in order to have access to any one of those signs, you would have, at least my interpretation is, you would have to include them all. You don't know which 17 are the ones that are going to be refurbished, or which 25 in a year. So my understanding would be that the rationale for that is to include them all, even though you wouldn't need to expend all those funds. So if you take the average of 17 times, you probably spent less than $100,000 on that contract in that year, despite the fact that the not to exceed was much higher.
Okay, go ahead.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. Just to clarify, we spent about $62,000 on these services last year.
And that was a 2-year, the contract was a 2-year contract, similar to this contract?
It was a 1-year extension, the previous contract.
Previous was a 1-year, and this is a 2-year.
And that contract was, I believe, 233,000, they spent 62. That's correct.
233,000
Was the not to exceed?
was the not to exceed.
Yes.
And it was, and how much again was spent?
$62,160, I believe.
Okay.
So there doesn't appear to be a definitive fact that you're going to spend the whole thing.
Right.
Based on the storm.
Right.
Also through you, Mr. President, there is in your packet, the double post signs, there are 37 in the county. Double post face, there's 9. Single post face, there's 41. Single post double face, there's 6. And when you look at what happened the last few weeks with the storms, we don't know how many are going to be damaged with tree limbs coming down on top of them, automobile accidents, et cetera. So I think when you look at it, it's a combination of let's put all in at this particular time. So just in the event we may have various signs go down, we have the ability, so we don't have to come back to the board.
Okay. Vice President Richardson, did you have a question?
I
Yes.
have two questions,
Sure.
two really quick questions. My first question is, where's your company located? The second question is, do you hire or employ any Essex County residents?
First question, Metuchen, New Jersey. Second question, yes, sir, we do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. And so follow-up question, Mr. Coach, we had 29 people, 29 vendors review, and one
We had one
And one
submission,
submittal.
yes.
And I think you addressed this earlier, Mr. Coach, but probably too early to assess what we think the need will be for this year post, as we come off a fairly rough winter.
With the way the winters continue to go, I have no idea how many would be available or how many are in the slot right now. Mr. Zates, do you have an idea on what we get?
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. We're still working on trees, and then we'll move to signs afterwards.
We'll get to that later. Okay. Yeah, again, the quality of the sign, no issue, the visibility, no issue, fairly substantial, large number, for, I think, the general public, looking at this, in terms of signs, and just, I would request that when we have that assessment through you, Mr. Goltry, that we submit to the board as fast as possible, where we are, and what we project, we will actually need to spend, out of this amount.
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay. Any additional questions or comments? Mover in a second.
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebel.
Second.
Second by Vice President Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're going to move out of order and go to the added starter, resolution number 38. Please read it.
Resolution 38, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, authorization to use the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund to fund Hilltop Reservation Dog Park, North Caldwell, New Jersey, amount not to exceed $724,320.
Madam Clerk, I believe 39 is also related. Could we read 39 into the record?
Yes, Mr. President, Resolution 39, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, Department of Public Works, contract award to Zenith Construction Services to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for Hilltop Reservation Dog Park, North Caldwell, New Jersey, 90-day contract, amount not to exceed $724,320.
Okay, Mr. Coltry.
Resolution number 38 is a insertion for the dog park, fully funded, which will be in North Caldwell, and 39 is the contract award to Zenith Construction, who is a minority-owned business, and the vendor is in Orange, New Jersey, and Josh Yates is here to explain.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. First off, thank you for taking the edit starters with the rest of the park stuff. I do appreciate it. Number 38 is the funding mechanism for number 39. Number 38 is an allocation from the Open Space Trust Fund to fund the Hilltop Dog Park. And just to give you a little synopsis of the project, first of all, it's located within the Hilltop Reservation. It's along Mountain Avenue, kind of near the North Caldwell Athletic Complex. It's going to include 165 feet by 210 feet, chain link fence, water fountains / dog accessories, benches, garbage cans, signage, gated decorated fences, storage shed, dog apparatuses, area for small and large dogs, doggy bag receptacles, some paved sidewalks, and some miscellaneous landscaping. And we do have Nick from Zenith here if you have any specific questions.
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Nick Knight from Zenith Construction. Zenith Construction is based in Orange, New Jersey. We are a minority contracting company. And as far as this dog park, it's, like you said, it's situated in North Caldwell. We are going to construct about 30,000 square feet of dog park for big dog, small dog, with exercise equipment, site furnishings, signage, and all kind of fancy stuff. We did that at Sessing Park last year, by the way, the spray park.
Freeholders. Freeholder Seabold.
Thank you. We had an Open Space Trust Fund meeting on April 9th, and at which time we went over the review of the dog park, and we were all happy to go along with this, especially since we knew it would make Freeholder Len Luciano very happy, because he's been asking for this dog park as long as I can remember. There's only one problem. I asked him the other day whether he has a dog that he's going to take to the dog park, and he said no. So I think that all of the freeholders ought to contribute and buy him a nice dog so he can use the dog park, the new dog park that he's wanted so badly. Do you agree?
Freeholder Luciano.
Mr. President, I will respond through you. Yes, Freeholder Seabold, my dog did pass away a couple of years ago, unfortunately. He did have a nice, healthy, long life.
But we did have this conversation.
But we've had this conversation for about 6.5 years. To the freeholders that are here, I badgered the county executive pretty much year in and year out that Essex County District 4, which I preside over, did not have a county dog park. And we know that the county exec has done a great job with parks and recreation all throughout the county. We know the other dog parks, South Orange, Freeholder, Bloomfield, Montclair. And so I'm really excited for this. For the vendor, Zenith, we know your work. We know you do great work. But I can tell you this project, because it's been literally so long for me to finally get this on the agenda. If you think Joe D is tough and a watchdog, I can tell you I will be passing by this dog park every couple of days and making sure everything is on time and under budget.
That's not a problem.
So, thank you, Mr. President. But again, I encourage and I hope that the rest of the board members will support it. I think this is a great recreational facility where a lot of folks will get to meet other members of the community. And our president, who has a puppy, can fill in for me with his dog when we take the photograph for the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Freeholders. Freeholder Jones.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. So since there's several municipalities with dog wall, I'm going to suggest to the county exec that we want one for Irvington Park. So hopefully he will take care of us as well as he's taking care of the other municipalities. And maybe the Wheatgrave Park. So he started something, so Wheatgrave Park is one of the busiest parks in Essex County.
Yep.
And Irvington is small, but we have dogs too.
Through you, Mr.
Duly
President.
noted. Freeholder Mercado.
I think you started a trend here.
Yes, right.
And I think District 1 is looking at a dog park as well, so I think we're all jumping on that bandwagon. It's just a good for the community. It brings people together, especially animal lovers, so I welcome and support this project.
Freeholder Palmeris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know the vendors work from the Spray Park in West Essing. I think it's an outstanding park. I'm not going to ask you for a dog park. I will tell you that the Bloomfield Animal Shelter has wonderful pets available, so be sure to check it out, perhaps on Facebook. And Freeholder Luciano and company who don't have dogs, I have two that I rescues, and I think this would be an appropriate time to remind people that rescues make great pets. So feel free to come to the Bloomfield Animal Shelter. I'll give you a tour myself, Freeholder, and we can find you a nice pup or an adult dog or cat. There you go. I'm a dog guy personally, but either way, we can work that out. Thank you, Mr. President.
Freeholders. Parlavecchio. Mr. McInerney?
No comment.
Sure?
I'll move it.
So we're gonna take 38 and 39 together, freeholders. We have a mover in Freeholder Luciano. Do I have a second? Second by second by Freeholder Siebel. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on resolution 38 and 39.
Freeholder Bauer.
Even though I have no dog in this fight. One bark is yes, so bark.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Roof.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes,
So moved.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President. Freeholder Vice President, just to be clear for the record, that was one woof for yes?
One wolf,
For yes.
yes.
Got it.
And then I said yes behind.
Okay. Just plain lawyer.
Okay, moving on to resolution number 5. Please read it, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 5, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Polari Brothers Construction, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for replacement of Center Street Bridge over Third River, Nutley, New Jersey, 240-day contract, amount not to exceed $2,879,230.42.
Mr. Coltry.
Mr. President, this is to reconstruct the Nutley Center Street Bridge in Nutley. Some of the funding, 2.5, came out of the Department of DOT grant, and the rest will be funded through the Department of Public Works. Mr. Zazali is here to speak on it.
Dennis Sedali, Assistant County Engineer. As Mr. Coltry said, we're going to get $2.5 million from the DOT for the for the replacement of this bridge. Just incidentally, this bridge was constructed in 1896, and it was we did some rehabilitation to the bridge in 1929, and also in 1965. It's rated 39 out of 100 by the state. It's structurally deficient. It needs to be replaced. And I'm glad that we are finally replacing this bridge with a bridge of a similar type so it will look well because it sits between two parks, the County Park, Yannicott, and Booth Park in Nutley. And I have the contractor here, Michael Polari, to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
Is this the full cost doing the bridge, or?
It's about $2,800,000. We have $2,500,000 in state funds, and we'll use, the remainder will be out of county capital from Public Works.
No, I understand, but this is the full cost of doing the bridge, and replacing the bridge.
That is correct,
It's
sir.
not a piece of this construction, it's not a piece of it.
No.
It's full.
The entire bridge.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mike Polari, Polari Brothers Construction, Vice President. We're located in Farmingdale, New Jersey, Monmouth County.
Would you like to tell us any more about your company or this project?
I'm sorry.
Anything more about your company or this project?
We've built a similar bridge in Somerset County. It's a twin-leaf arch structure. It's a 20-foot span vertically and 60 feet of length of the river. And it's what we do. We build bridges and roads and underground infrastructure, a lot of site work.
Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Freeholder Palmaris?
Thank you, Mr. President. Could you give me a rough time frame of what it would take to start and complete the project?
So we expect to begin shop drawings once we finally awarded the contract, and we expect to close the roadway in early July and reopen mid to late November. It's a significant structure. It's the excavation for the structure is about 30 feet deep. So there's a fair amount of work that's got to get done to do the structure. It's small when you look at the length of it when you drive over it, but it is a significant structure.
Very familiar. I have a few more, if it's all right, Mr. President.
Absolutely.
So I hate to see anything historic go. I'm a historic preservationist, but I understand it's, beyond repair. And I know similarly to the Berkeley Avenue Bridge in Bloomfield, a lot of the historic design elements of that bridge was incorporated into the bridge. So is in part of your shop drawings, part of the plan to take design elements of the existing bridge and incorporate it? Or will it be a structure that is considerably different in design and in appearance?
The fascia of the bridge is going to resemble to the best that we can the existing bridge. It has a custom rock form liner on the precast elements, and they'll be stained to try to match the color as best we can.
Excellent.
We'll perform a test panel that inspectors and engineers can review and make sure that it meets the criteria.
I don't mind that you cheat behind the scenes, with modern materials. I just want, my concern is mostly the facade and obviously not being jarring to the area and what it's been there, because a lot of things have developed over time around it, and it's been part of the community. So my next couple of questions are related more into the impact, environmental impact, as a tributary to the Third River is a tributary to the Passaic, which needs all the help it can get, as we all know. So as part of this project, is there any river channeling or dredging? And secondary to that, what do you do to prevent debris from entering into the water system?
So there's a turbidity barrier that will be installed to prevent silt from washing further downstream. There's going to be permanent sheeting that's installed, a cofferdam, to prevent any excavation and work that we're doing within the bridge footings from entering the stream. And the reason the work's being delayed till July is because of DEP permits and wildlife.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Freeholders? Additional questions or comments? Vice President Richardson?
Yeah, you're a union outfit?
Yeah, we're signatory with Local 825 and operating engineers and Local 472.
Thank you.
Civil laborers.
Freeholders? Do I have a mover and a second?
I'd like to move it, Mr. President.
Moved by Freeholder Palmaris. Second by Freeholder Bauer. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson?
Yes.
Freeholder Palmaris?
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer?
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 6, please read it.
Resolution 6, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, professional services, agreement to provide engineering design services for mechanical engineering and public services at Veterans Courthouse, Aquarius Consulting Group, amount not to exceed $41,225.
Mr. Coltry.
This was a publicly advertised fair and open RFP. 12 firms submitted out of 92 potential. Aquarius Consulting was the lowest score of 1165 for $41,225. When we go out to the RFP, it's usually when they're rated, it's on technical, managerial, and professional. Price usually doesn't play into the scoring as much as the other areas do. And Dennis Zazella is here to explain.
Dennis Adeli, Assistant County Engineer. Generally, this project is going to design replacement mechanical and HVAC equipment for the Veterans Courthouse. The mechanical equipment room's on the 4th floor, and we'll need to look at replacing 9 heat pumps, 4 steam water exchangers, 4 expansion tanks, and we also need to tie the new system into our building management system. In the basement of the Veterans Courthouse building, we're going to be replacing 2 heat pumps, a heat exchanger, an expansion tank, and generally look at all the electrical motors that we have for all the equipment to see if they need to be replaced or rehabilitated, and we'll be removing asbestos from the pipes that we find. We need to install new isolation valves, and we need to do this work and meet all codes and standards, and that's what this consultant will be designing for us.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? I have a question. The range on these, the price range on these bids is
Just so.
fairly significant. Could you expand on that a little bit?
It would be difficult for me to expand on that. I can't understand some of the prices. They're so high. I can only assume that they didn't understand the scope of the work, nor did they ask to come and see the site and see what equipment they were dealing with in what locations.
Or maybe the score, the second highest scored bid, comes in at 202,000 and the winning bid is at 41,000.
I believe I didn't review the proposals myself. I didn't score them myself. I can say that we've had good experience with Aquarius in the past.
Okay.
And I could only think that would weigh on the reviewers.
And who scored the bid?
I do not know who the reviewers were in Public Works.
The administration?
Usually it's done by the department, and when you look at the scope of prices and you look the lower end, you have a lot of them chunked together around 50-something thousand plus. Usually it's an engineering, one of the engineers or a panel of 3 when they score.
Okay. Okay. Freeholder? The mover in a second.
I'll move this, President.
I'll second.
Moved by Freeholder Palmaris, second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmaris.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Moving to resolution number 7, Madam Clerk, can we please read it?
Resolution 7, Department of Public Works of Engineering Contract Award to Comvada Sustainable Solutions to provide waste tire removal, service disposal services, exercising 24-month contract extension option, amount not to exceed $100,000.
Mr. Coltry.
Mr. President, this was a bid that went out in 2016. and it's a 2-year extension for Cavada, and they are removing waste tires, et cetera, and Dennis.
Dennis Sedeli, Assistant County Engineer. As Mr. Coltree had said, it's to remove the waste tires. We put the waste tires in dumpsters, and we pay the vendor based on the tonnage of the container and a trucking cost. And this is also the same vendor we used when we had our 2 tire recycling events last year.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? A mover and a second.
So move.
Moved by Freeholder Palmeris.
Second.
I'm sorry, that was Mr. Mercado.
Excuse me, Freeholder Mercado. Second by Freeholder Bauer. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano. Absent. Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
President not voting.
So moved.
Moving to resolution number 8. Please read it, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 8, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering, resolution consenting to the Township of West Orange Ordinance Number 2534-17, reduction of speed limit among Pleasant Valley Way, County Road 636.
Mr. Coltree.
This is a resolution to reduce the speed on Pleasant Valley Way from 45/50 miles per hour to 45 miles per hour. On Pleasant Valley Way, there was also a traffic study done at this particular time, from the Township of West Orange, and Dennis Zali is here to explain anything else.
Dennis Sedeli, Assistant County Engineer. This will complete the reduction of the speed limits along the entire length of Lakeside Avenue and Pleasant Valley Way from Bloomfield Avenue to Northfield Road. This was the last segment that we needed to have studied and the speed limit reduced. And in this particular section, there also will be a further reduction during school hours for the Ox Academy, which is on Pleasant Valley Way.
Excellent. Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. Just to say that this is very happy to see this on the agenda tonight, and I know that many of us have heard from the community for a long time on this issue. So absolutely a step in the right direction to create a more safer environment on this corridor. Freeholder Siebold.
Thank you. I would just like to add to that because a group of people in West Orange have been advocating for this to occur for many years now, and I'm very pleased that it's finally taking place and will help in terms of the traffic on Pleasant Valley Way.
Where is it?
Thank you very much.
Absolutely would concur with Freeholder Siebold. Yeah, it's been a tremendous community effort, particularly in West Orange on that issue. With that, do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Bauer. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Moving to resolution number 9. Please read it, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 9, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, resolution consenting to the Township of Montclair, Resolution O-17-037, reduction of speed limit entire length of Grove Street, County Road 623.
Mr. Coltree.
Mr. President, I think you'll be very happy with this. It's the reduction of speed from 35 to 30 along Grove Street in Montclair. And Dennis Sedali is here to explain the rest.
Dennis Sedali, Assistant County Engineer. Isn't much more to explain. It's a study was done, submitted to the county. We consented and agreed with the study and recommend that the board approve the resolution to reduce the speed limit from 35 to 30.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
I don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. See no questions and comments. This is a particularly hard resolution for me personally. Mary DeFilippis was killed in June of 2017 crossing Grove and Chester Street in Montclair. Mary DeFilippis' son is one of my best friends. I grew up in her house, in her home, and she was taken. Again, maybe not because of the speed, but no doubt that she was killed crossing the street. So I'll leave it at that, but just to say that this again is long overdue, and my hope is that her family and those affected by that tragedy, and for future generations, that some good comes out of what happened with that horrible incident. So, thank you, Madam Clerk. With that, I would like to move this resolution.
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Johnson. Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano. Absent. Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please lead to resolution number 10.
Resolution 10, Department of Public Works Division of Buildings and Grounds contract award to the two lowest responsive and responsible bidders per item on a unit cost basis to furnish and deliver various Freon and refrigerant products, 1-year contract, aggregate amount not to exceed $100,000.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Coltry.
We went out to bid. We had 6 bidders received from 27 potential. We have 2 vendors, Aspen Refrigerant and FW Web Company, and they will supply various refrigerants, various according to code, and Dennis Sedali is here to explain the rest.
Dennis Sedali, Assistant County Engineer. These vendors will provide different sizes of cylindrical containers, I think ranging from 25 pounds to 100 pounds, to public works, parks, and other county jurisdictions or agencies that need Freon or refrigerants.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
Yes. Have either of these 2 vendors had this contract before, if you know?
I do not know. I don't think so. They both look like new names.
Do you know, we had this contract last year, though, or in past years?
Yes, we have.
Do you know how much was spent in the prior year?
I recollect that it was in the range of $30,000.
In the aggregate?
Yes,
For all
yes.
the services?
I believe the reason that we go so high with it is because other agencies may use the contract, and we want to make sure that, they can avail themselves of the service.
Thank you.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. Mover and a second.
Move, Mr. President. Or second.
Moved by Vice President Richardson, second by Freeholder Palmaris. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 11.
Resolution 11, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering Contract Award to Foggia Trinity Electric, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide traffic signals and roadway improvements at Pleasant Valley Way and Alyssa Drive, Lakewood View Drive, West Orange, New Jersey, 210-day contract agreement, amount not to exceed $319,805.50.
Thank you, Mr. Coltry.
Mr. President, we went out to bid. We received five bids were received. Fojo was the lowest responsible bidder, and they are going to put a light at the driveway of West Orange High School, a light with LED and synchronized with the light along the Pleasant Valley Way, and Dennis Sedali is here to explain the rest of the project.
Dennis Daly, Assistant County Engineer. If you recall, at the last meeting, we had the agreement and the insertion of revenue from the Township of West Orange and West Orange Board of Education for funding this project. This is the award of the construction contract to Foggia for the installation of a new traffic signal at Pleasant Valley Way and Alyssa Drive Lakeside, which is adjacent to the West Orange High School and a public park. The signal met all the state warrants for installation. It will be a pedestrian-friendly signal. It will have the countdown pedestrian indications. We'll install new curb ramps. There'll be signage. And just as a way of information, on the northerly direction of Pleasant Valley Way, in front of the school and the park, the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. So, and this signal will help especially the students who exit from the high school onto Pleasant Valley Way. And we have the contractor here with us, Mr. Anthony Cifelli from Foggia Trinity Contracting for your...
Okay. The contractor.
Good evening. I'm Anthony Cifelli, the president of Foggia Trinity Electric. I've been doing this type of work for 23 years, and I've done, over my career, about 150 intersections, along with maintenance and other improvements.
Mr. Parlavecchia?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholder Siebel?
Thank you. I'm very happy that this light is going to be going in. Again, it will help the traffic along Pleasant Valley Way. And this particular light is important to me. I taught at West Orange High School for 30 years, and I'm used to leaving West Orange High School, and I'm used to the traffic on Pleasant Valley Way, and it was always a nightmare. For 30 years, I had to worry about the traffic going to school, coming home from school, and I'm very happy that this traffic light will go in and help all the kids who are parking in the lot.
We're going to try.
Thank you.
Freeholders? Freeholder Johnson?
Through you, Mr. President, have you did any work for the county in the past?
Oh, I've done for the county at least 75 intersections.
Okay, could you name some of them? That you
Pleasant Valley and Eagle Rock, Bloomfield and Grove. I've done about 10 intersections on Bloomfield Avenue throughout the various towns. I've done Northfield and West Orange, Livingston. I've done Springfield Avenue from Morris Avenue to 18th Street, and various other intersections.
Okay. Thank you.
And the last one I did was in Livingston at Chestnut and Northfield.
Vice President Richardson?
Do you employ any Essex County residents?
Yes. We have one employee currently that lives in West Orange. We're 825 and 102.
Thank you.
Freeholder Siebel?
Thanks. I could just add, since you were the one who did the one at Chestnut Street, that is working so well. The neighbors were all upset that the traffic light was coming in, and believe it or not, they are now very happy with it. And I go past there all the time, and the light is really terrific.
Try our best.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Freeholders? From a mover? Second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Seabold, second by Vice President Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Seabold.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We move to resolution number 12. Please read it.
Resolution 12, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering Contract Award to Smith Sondy Asphalt Construction Company, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for roadway reconstruction of Scotland Road in Orange and South Orange, New Jersey, amount not to exceed $347.30.
Mr. Coltrane.
Mr. President, we went out to bid, received 7 bids out of 70 potential bids. Smithsonian was the lowest responsible bidder at the price of $974,347.30. Capital funds for 2018 and CDBG grant funds will be used for this project, and Dennis Sedali is here to explain.
Dennis Sedali, Assistant County Engineer. We're going to mill and repave Scotland Road. We'll mill off 2 inches, replace 2 inches. We're going to replace the pavement markings, the curb ramps where they need to be replaced, do some drainage improvements, and reconstruct some manholes and inlets, clean some manholes and inlets, and do some other incidental improvements. And we have Mr. Mike Vogel, from project coordinator from Smith Sunday, here to answer your questions.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I have some questions for Mr. Sedale.
Okay, I'll do it after the,
Good evening. My name is Michael Boble, and I am a supervising engineer with Smith Sunday Asphalt Construction. Smith Sunday Asphalt Construction started in 1946 as a 2-man residential driveway operation. We are now a $40 million a year operation, employing approximately 80 employees during the height of the construction season. We are a union shop. Our laborers are 472, our operators are 825, and our truckers are the Teamsters 560. We are based out of Wallington, New Jersey, but 18% of our workforce is Essex County residents. Our clientele, besides the private sector, we have done work for numerous municipalities in North Jersey, as well as Essex County in the past, Bergen County, Passaic County, Union County, and then the New Jersey Department of Transportation.
very good. Freeholder Bauer.
I have some questions for Mr. Sedale. Mr. Sedale, prior to joining this board, I was a trustee in South Orange. Can you hear me? Prior to joining this board, I was a trustee in South Orange, and the village trustees spent a lot of time working with the county to have a vision for Scotland Road that would reduce the speed of the vehicles on Scotland Road, and I thought an agreement had been reached where, even though the county was not going to install in-street traffic calming measures, that there would be a reconstruction project that was more robust than a mill and pave job, which is what you just described. And I was wondering if you are familiar with those negotiations and familiar with the project that I'm describing.
Dennis Sedale, Assistant County Engineer. I am not familiar with that project. I know that we're going to mill and pave Scotland Road, and then from South Orange Avenue to the southerly terminus of Valley Street, we're also going to mill and pave that road.
I would hate to see that any opportunity to protect the school children that have to cross that street, and it's a very, very busy street on their way to Marshall School and to the school on Clark Street, as well as now Orange has the STEM Academy at the corner of Montrose and Scotland, which is the old Mary Lawn. So there's 3 schools right there, as well as people coming back and forth to the high school and the middle school, 5 schools, as well as temples where people obviously walk back and forth. It seems to me that we should be doing something other than just a mill and pave job there, especially after all the complaints that were made for several years in a row to do something different with Scotland Road.
I know we do have, where the municipality designates school crossings and has a school crossing guard there during school hours, we do put up the signage and do stripe the crosswalks for school crossings. Any other, I am not aware of any other projects proposed for that location.
Freeholders?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Through you, Mr. President, you said that you were going to be doing all of South Orange and all of Orange?
No, I meant Scotland Road.
Scotland Road.
Its entire length.
Okay.
Valley Street, its entire length, from South Orange Avenue to Milburn Avenue.
Okay, to Milburn Avenue? You're going to be doing to Milburn Avenue?
No. Valley Street.
Yes.
From South Orange Avenue to Milburn Avenue.
That's what I just said, Milburn Avenue.
I thought you asked me.
So this is going to go across Central Avenue and over the bridge?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry if I misunderstood you.
So, just to come back to Freeholder Bauer's comments, this, is this, and this through the administration, is this project being done in consistence with our county complete streets policy?
Often I would have to refer to the Department of Public Works at that time.
Okay.
I believe it is in compliance with our complete streets policy.
Because it just, it again strikes me that both on Valley and on Scotland Road, that there's multiple opportunities here within this project to make sure that we are accounting for all potential traffic calming measures. So whether those be, right, the striping, the milling and the paving, and even the potential for, for curb bump outs, at least on parts of that thoroughfare which have high concentrations of pedestrian traffic. I do have some concerns that, or at least would like to strongly encourage the administration to really take a hard look at the project and make sure that we, before we, spend this money and put the guys to work, or put our contract to work, excuse me, that we make sure that, Freeholder Bauer's, comments and concerns are addressed, and that, again, we make sure that with the local governing bodies there, that we're making sure that we use this opportunity to enforce and implement our complete streets policy.
Mr. President, I'll be glad to get it back to the Department of Public Works through the administration and advise them of your comments.
Okay, thank you. Additional questions or comments?
I do want to say that
Sure,
I cannot support this project. I'm sure it was well conceived and well engineered, and I have absolutely no problem with the vendor selected or the selection process. But again, this is a situation not unlike President Gill, where a lifelong resident, Margaret Fiore, was killed on Valley Street. And she actually was my district leader in the Democratic Party. I was the person who took her to Waltham and everything. And I know that there was an agreement. Frank Belgardio came to many trustee meetings where I was sitting. We came to an agreement. It wasn't everything that I wanted, but I'm positive of it. And if this project meets the complete street policy, then we need to revise the policy so that it incorporates more traffic calming measures that are in the ICE manual and are perfectly acceptable for slowing down traffic. There's not even a reduction of speed. There's no bump out. There's no in-road during school hours or anything like that. So I really just can't vote for this.
Thank you, Freeholder. Vice President Richardson.
Yeah, through you, Mr. President, how do we ensure that the conversations and the negotiations that were taking place between the Department of Public Works of the county and Orange trustees are adhered to? If there was a negotiation and those things actually took place and they're not incorporated, I think we need to find out why not and how do they get incorporated. There was actual negotiation. They came to an agreement in terms of that particular, those stretches, then they need to be implemented before this contract is even voted on, in my opinion. And I support the project. I support what they're doing, the work, but, I mean, it needs to be addressed.
Through you, Mr. President, we would like to table this as possible so we can answer all these questions that you're concerned with.
Thank you, Mr. McCullough. I think maybe we would just conferring with the council here that maybe we can adjourn it to the next meeting. So I don't think we need to table, but we could adjourn to the next meeting and in between see when if we could maybe set up a separate meeting. You know, with Freeholder Bauer, and also just and address some of these questions, you know, before I think the meeting is on the 25th. Thank you, Madam Clerk. So if that's agreeable to the administration, I think adjourning to the next meeting would be my recommendation.
Yeah, Mr. President, my recommendation is you can take a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting to the April 25th meeting in Bloomfield.
You know, and again, I just want to thank you, Mr. Parlavecchio. I again just want to reiterate that this is in no way reflection of the contractor, you know, or that process. You know, this again, I think has to do chiefly and mainly, you know, with the plans as they're, at least as we currently understand them. And I think they require just a little bit more further conversation as we move forward.
Mr. President, do we need the contractor back at that time, or he will be excused?
You know, unless my colleagues object, I don't think we need the contractor back at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, he chooses.
Of course, welcome to join us. So can I have a motion to adjourn agenda item number 12 until our Wednesday, April 25th meeting?
So move.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson, second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano. Yes. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Moving to resolution number 13, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 13, Essex County Commissioner Registration and Superintendent of Elections, Board of Elections, and County Clerk contract with Dominion Voting Systems to provide election license fees, support machines, and parts, labor, amount not to exceed $500,000.
Mr. Coltry.
This was a non-fair and open bid exempt for the Board of Elections, Commissioner Registration, and the Commissioner is here, Linda Von Nessy, and Superintendent of Elections, Edna Ball, to explain.
Thank you.
Good evening, Freeholder President Gill and Board of Chosen Freeholders. My name is Linda Von Nessy. I'm the clerk of the Essex County Board of Elections. I'll just tell you what Dominion Voting Systems does for the Board of Elections. They provide the ICC scanner that allows us to scan our mail-in ballots and our provisional ballots. Part of the $500,000 that is projected for the Board of Elections is $33,950. I have to tell you that we're extremely pleased with our scanner. The product that we used before, there were many times that we didn't have a tally until the next day. So I appreciate Dominion Systems, ICC scanner for the counting of the mail-in and the provisional ballots. Thank you.
Good evening, Freeholder Chair Edna Ball, Superintendent of Elections, Commissioner of Registration. With respect to the remainder of the contract that covers my office, the Dominion Voting provides our license so that the software operates on the machine, as well as supplies us with parts for the machines when the machines need to be repaired. Parts can range from something as simple as a wheel to something as extensive as a printer so that the vote tally prints out. We've been very pleased with the services from Dominion, and we have a representative from Dominion here if you have additional questions. Mr. Ron Rosario.
Hi, Mr. President. My name is Ron Rosania. I'm the New Jersey sales representative for Dominion Voting. I personally grew up in Essex County and still live in Essex County to this day. I grew up in Verona and currently live in Cedar Grove. Dominion Voting currently services 19 of the 21 counties in the state of New Jersey. We're also international as well. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Mr. Palavecchio.
I don't have any questions.
Mr. McInerney.
I don't have any questions either.
Freeholders. Freeholder Johnson.
Before we start asking him questions, I want to ask the administration, just our last meeting, we had those people in for the machines and stuff, and they said they did the wheels, they did all the repairs. It was 2 different contracts.
Correct.
And now they're saying that he's doing the same thing, the wheels and all of that kind of stuff, the repairs?
No,
the
I think
machines?
Superintendent or Commissioner Ball will explain that they were doing more of computer work and managing computer systems.
The contracts that the freeholders worked with when I was here last deal with working on the mechanical issues. They're not providing the parts. They're assisting our office with preparation of the machines, certifying of the machines, working on issues that may be related to repair of the machines. This particular contract deals with the software that operates the machine, as well as this company provides us with the parts for the machine.
Okay, well, what do we have those employees that's working at the warehouse? What are their capabilities?
They're doing the repairs in partnership with Election Graphics, who is working with them to effectuate repairs, as well as providing the certification of the machines that's required by the state.
Through you, Mr. President, I would like to get those 2 resolutions from the last meeting in reference to that and compare it with this.
Absolutely.
Because everything sounds a little similar to me.
Okay.
That we've heard this.
you, Madam Clerk, can provide those resolutions
Yes.
to Freeholder Johnson.
Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Freeholder Chair, I'd like
Sure.
Mr. Rosanio may be able to help clarify the difference between the contracts that we're talking about.
Yeah, I'll do my best. As far as what Dominion, what we do, we own the software that the election is run on. So the election is programmed, it's built in the computer system, which then gets transported to the machines for election day. Then when the results at the end of an election, they come back into our system, that's how all the votes from all the different machines throughout the county get generated. And that's where the tallies come from. And then also the mail-in ballots from the Board of Elections office, those tallies also come into the software. So the licensing fee is for the election management software that basically runs the front and back end of the election. In the center of it is the machines themselves. The machines, I believe Essex County purchased them back in 2007. These machines they were designed and built. I believe Bergen County was the first in New Jersey to purchase them back 24 years ago. And it also depends on how they're maintained. So the machines right now, you may have, when you're shipping a machine to a polling location, you may have a curb. A delivery person may hit the curb, may bend a wheel. A door may open and may get bumped somewhere. Little nicks here and there. There may be a CPU failure. There could be possibly a printer. Now, not to alarm anybody, all this stuff is tested and certified prior to an election. But in the process of that certifying and process of building the election and working on the machines throughout the year, you may find this printer's not working and this printer needs to be replaced. So then that's where we would come in. We would replace the printer, and then, to my knowledge, Election Graphics is assisting your warehouse in maintaining the warehouse, maintaining the machines throughout the year, fixing anything that needs to be fixed, and then also, again, the separate is certifying the machine. So once an election is created and loaded onto a machine, then each of those machines need to be sealed and certified by the state. That is something that I know Election Graphics specializes in, and that's what they do for a number of counties throughout the state of New Jersey. So hopefully that clarified a little bit.
Freeholders. Freeholder Luciano.
I just want to say that I've had numerous conversations with Mr. Rosania over the years. I know that, for the freeholders that don't know, Dominion Voting Systems is not from New Jersey. They're from Colorado.
Yeah, our corporate headquarters
is in Colorado, but, we are lucky to have him here in Essex County, as he's, one of their go-to guys here in New Jersey. I think they've done a great job. I know we've kind of kicked this can around for a while that some of these machines are in true disrepair and need some help. We know that we have some real major elections coming in the next few years. Voting machines are very expensive. I know we had some help from higher branches of government the last time we purchased these machines. I'll put it on record again, with Mr. Rosania's help and the two directors that are here tonight, I'd like to see us have a long-range plan. This, to me, is more of a short-term fix. The long-range plan would be, let's see what new equipment is available. Let's have a sit-down as to, how we can carve out some funding in the future to start to transition to some of the newer machines that not only are the newest technology, and you guys all know that. The analogy I give is a TV. A television from 12 years ago is nothing like a television today. So I'd like to see that happen, of course, in conjunction, and collaboration with the administration. And again, if there is a way, and I wasn't here the last time we purchased these machines, that was in 2005 or 2006, so roughly 13 years ago. I would also like for somebody to sit down and explain to the board, how was it that we were able to secure the funding we did at that time? Is there something the board needs to put in writing to request from a higher agency? Is that something we need to do on more of a political basis? Do we need to call our legislators at the state or the federal level and say, hey, where can you help us find these funds to go forward? But I do know your company. I know we've had a lot of conversations, and I know we see eye to eye, so I support this contract. But I support it with the notion that we are going to make a major shift in the near future to really secure some new equipment.
Freeholder Jones.
I'm hearing what you say, but what I say to you is this. The residents of Essex County taxes goes up. And
Right.
I'm living in a distressed city, and a lot of mortgage closures and all these things that is occurring in these inner cities. I know when we purchased these machines that we have, it was a mandate that we had to get new machines. Before that, we had some 4 years where you flick it, and whatever. And they said we had to change, so that was one of the reasons why we got. Now, you're talking about before mandate that you're looking for new machines, that's fine. But somebody's going to pay, and it's going to fall on the backs of taxpayers because the county taxes are going to go up. And who's going to facilitate in terms of trying to help us to keep our homes? So I'm just putting it out here, and what you said, and I'm not disagreeing with you, and you see the vision, that's fine. But the reality is, somebody's going to pay, and it winds up on the homeowners of Essex County.
So, just in addition, I have a question, and as it relates to the most recent federal omnibus bill that was passed, because I thought that I read that there was within that legislation money specifically awarded to the states for voting machine purchases. And I could be wrong in this number, but I thought there was $10 million at least that was within that legislation that was going to be given to the state of New Jersey. So I do agree to a certain extent with my colleague Freeholder Luciano that this to me again is more of a temporary fix, and what I would love for the administration to come back to with us is where we stand right now, or what should we, if we're not already, what should we be doing to prepare to go after that federal money that's going to flow through the state that I believe was part of this year's federal budget process.
Linda Von Nessy, Board of Elections. I just would like to address a few things. Yes, you are correct. There was money that is going to be distributed to the states. Where that came from is in the year 2000, in answer to, and you're right on board with, we were required to get new machines. That was after the 2000 election when they passed the Help America Vote Act, and any county that did not, or any state that did not have electronic machines that had the machines that we had, or the machines that, the punch cards that Florida had, they were required to get new machines. Money was provided.
Right.
There were a lot of counties that complained because they paid for their own. We were
Right.
fortunate in Essex County and New York City that we did not purchase right away, so they did have money. There was some HAVA money that is still available, and that is what they're distributing now. And that is the end of the bucket. There is no more money. That will not purchase new machines for the whole state, but it is a help.
But just, I'm sorry, but just so I understand, that's new money that's in this year's, that's new money under HAVA that's being awarded to the
but
state.
it's
And
part
what
of it's part of the 2000 bill.
But it's part of
not
the-
a new bill.
But there's money in the 18 omnibus.
Yes.
There's money in the
From
omnibus.
what I understand from our director in the state, there will be money that will be provided
I mean,
for
I
the
can,
counties.
that part, and again, I know just enough to be dangerous and not, and I really am asking this, these are comments and questions, so please understand. What I'm suggesting is that I wasn't on the board at that time, but the last time that this money came around, and some of the folks who were on this board at that time, who are still here, we had a large group of concerned citizens in this county who didn't think that we handled that the right way. Is what I'm suggesting, and what I'm saying is I want to make sure that this time this time around that we get it right. And there is right now, and I think we need our state folks and we need and our federal folks to make sure that Essex County, whatever is becoming available in this space, is at the top of the list. That's what.
I absolutely
so,
agree, and I'm sure that this board will accomplish
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I would like to respond to Freeholder Johnson's remark. And in all fairness to Superintendent Bow, in the last election, she was out sick. And she was not here on Election Day. We all know that there were some issues with the machines on Election Day. She was proactive rather than waiting for another election, and that is why Election Graphics has been brought on board. We're very fortunate that she was proactive. We never want another election like that. There were some issues with the X's on the machine. We have a professional contractor that has been brought in. They have worked in Morris County, they've worked in Cumberland County, they've worked in Passaic County, and they are going to assist the superintendent in this election to make sure that anything that is sent out to the polling place on Election Day, starting with the May election, everything will be certified and will be working. So I applaud her for that, and I just wanted to address that because she wasn't here. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholders, additional comments or questions? Do we have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold.
Second.
Second by Vice President Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
President, not voting.
Freeholder Bauer.
I'll vote yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to Resolution 14.
Resolution 14, Office of the Board of Elections Contract Award to Grand Rental Station, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide the rental of chairs and tables at various polling places, April 24th, 2018 through November 5th, 2019, amount not to exceed $125,000.
Thank you, Mr. Coltry.
This was a bid for table and chairs for various polling places. We received 2 bids from approximately 11 vendors. It's an open-ended contract as needed, and the vendor is from Bloomfield, New Jersey, and Linda Von Ness is here to explain.
Thank you.
Linda Von Ness, Board of Elections, I'm back. Grand Rental has been doing supplying our furniture for the past maybe 5 or 6 years. We had a vendor before that for many years, and the material that was sent to the polling places was inferior. Delivery was always a problem. I applaud Grand Rental. They do a wonderful job. I have not gotten one complaint since they've been servicing us. The tables are new and the chairs are new. Not one person has complained or gotten splinters, which has always been a problem at our polling places. And their delivery, and they're so responsive. So I had Michael Lamberson. Michael Lamberson is here from Grand Rental.
My name is Mike Lamberson. I'm with Grand Rental Station. We're in Bloomfield. Been in business about 22 years now. Live in Glen Ridge. Most of my employees are from Essex County, about 90%. We've been delivering tables and chairs to the polling locations now for about 8 years, and hope to continue. Can I answer any questions?
Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. They have a mover and a second. Moved by Freeholder Jones.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Luciano. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Stevo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please move to resolution number 15.
Resolution 15, Office of the Prosecutor Contract Award to Computer Square, the sole responsive and responsible bidder to provide InfoShare computer software, one-year agreement, amount not to exceed $357,500.
Mr. Coultry.
This is a award for sole responsible bidder for a Computer Square Inc., which is the software for InfoShare. On behalf of Bob Marino, he had an emergency with his family and he could not attend the meeting this evening. He apologizes for that. He had an emergency. This particular computer software is grant-funded for case management system. For the module was for a victim witness module, which the case management system that they already have in place will coordinate various victims and witnesses to bring to trial.
Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
This is fully grant funded.
Grant funded, okay. Freeholders. Questions or comments? Seeing or hearing none, do I have a mover and a second?
Move it. Second.
Moved by Freeholder Palmeris, second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Stevo. Yes. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Freeholder Richardson. I'm looking at him.
That's all right, you're fired.
Now, that's not funny. Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes,
So moved.
thank you. Moving to resolution number 16, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 16, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Youth Services, contract with the New Jersey Superior Court Family Division to provide telephone notification services for 2018, amount not to exceed $16,992, grant funded.
Okay. Mr. Coultry.
Mr. President, this is a grant to have a part-time staff person for 19 hours, and Lee Fisher is here to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Thank you. Mr. President, this, as noted, is a part-time position. It's been in place for several years now, working with the family court, the juvenile family court. The young lady or staff person makes daily calls to ensure that juveniles are reminded and their guardians are reminded of their court dates. It helps to reduce the failure to appear and makes for an efficient court process.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
Yeah, just a question, and I assume it's been effective. We've been doing this for a number of years, I think. Has it significantly reduced the failures to appear?
Most certainly. It previously, prior to having a part-time staff person, we actually had a vendor, which was paid twice the amount of money, and of course we had a significant higher number, but this individual was able to work with the two family court judges and to work in sync with the other staff that's involved, the court, making a daily calendar, and it's been very efficient. Our stats compared to any other county within the state in terms of FTA.
Yeah, just anecdotally, Mr. President, when you start piling up failures to appear for court, and then a court issues a warrant, and then the police go out and execute a warrant, and then somebody ends up in jail, and it becomes, for whatever the amount is, $17,000, this is probably worth its weight in gold for what it resolves.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay, do I have a mover and a second?
So, second.
Moved by Freeholder Jones, second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 17.
Resolution 17, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Youth Services, contract with New Jersey Superior Court, Essex Vintage Family Part for the provision of a substance abuse evaluator for 2018, amount not to exceed $100,237, grant funding.
Mr. Coltry.
This is a grant to allow continued assessment and testing for juveniles upon which the court relies on making their pre- and post-judiciary decisions, and Lee Fisher is here to explain the rest of the grant.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Yes, Mr. President, Freeholder, as noted, this is a staff position that's embedded in the court, working in conjunction with the family court judges, and does both various tests, urine analysis, as well as assessments, makes referral to other substance abuse programs, makes a determination to give the family court the level of risk or involvement that young people are assessed, what their needs are, so the court can make a viable decision about how to adjudicate or divert that particular kid.
Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. Grant funded.
Yes.
Yep. A mover and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Palmera, second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to Resolution 18.
Resolution 18, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Youth Services, approval of state community partnership subgrant agreement for 2018 with Aspira Incorporated for Evening Reporting Center Program, amount not to exceed $255,042.
Mr. Coltry.
This is a sub-grant to provide services at-risk and court-involved juveniles at an evening reporting center, and Mr. Fisher is here to explain.
Fisher.
Yes, this program is a program that provides 25 slots for the family court to make determination as to whether a juvenile is placed in the detention center or placed in the evening reporting center to be daily reporting. They're actually picked up from their home or their school if they're in school from 3 to 9 each and every day. They're provided food, provided with recreation, also provided with control assistance and factors during school. And they have an array of other programs and services that we don't have to pay for, but the juveniles are able to access. It's one of the significant programs as part of our continuum of detention alternatives, starting with home detention, the GPS, as well as the evening reporting center. We've also been very fortunate this year. We actually RFP'd or requested a proposal to put another dimension to the program, which previously it was a detention alternative that's pre-adjudicated. But the court asked, could we add another dimension so as to have it be a disposition option as well? So if you have a juvenile who's actually being required to report to that program, and they're working out well and they have a guardian that isn't at home during the evening hours, they can continue to be adjudicated to that program as opposed to returning to their leisure, if you will. They can continue to be held accountable. We also have the executive director of that program, Mr. Carl Valentin, here as well. If you have any additional questions relative to this program that I can answer.
Okay. Carlos.
Carlos Valentin Jr., Aspida Inc. of New Jersey, Executive Director, 390 Broad Street, Newark, New Jersey, 0707104. Mr. President and esteemed members of the Freeholder Board, the Evening Reporting Center is a great program that we offer at Aspida. Aspida has been around since 1968 in the city of Newark, serving thousands of citizens through various programming, including after-school enrichment programs, work readiness programs, and our annual scholarship initiative, among a wealth of programs. And what we do offer for our Evening Reporting Center participants, other than the services that Mr. Fisher mentioned before, we also offer them access to our music studio, our boxing, nutrition, and fitness program, as well as the work readiness component, where they are helped all the time with resume preparation,
They get taken out to look for employment and things of that nature. So there are a lot of services that we do provide ancillary to the program. Another component of the program is the community service component. As Mr. Fisher mentioned, we do feed them every day, and we allow them to take leftovers home to their families, as many of them are in tough situations. But whatever food is left over from that, we go and take it to local shelters so that none of the food goes to waste, and the kids also get the experience of giving back in our communities. So.
Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders.
Comment.
Freeholder Johnson.
Comment. I would like to say for the record that I have visited Mr. Valentine's program a couple of times over my years here, and just spot checks, just went in, and I've seen some of the things that they're doing with those young men and women in the programs, and I'm very glad that we have that right here in the city of Newark.
Freeholder Palmaris.
Thank you for your presentation. What do you figure is the volume of people you service in the course of a year? And I don't need a precise number, but I know it varies because you have different programs. What do you, if you had to take a guess, what do you figure?
I guess in the range of about 100 or so. It depends, though, because they're referred by the courts. Yeah, we have no control over the overall amount.
So your impact reaches beyond the people you service immediately, I would imagine, because
Yes.
of the family implications, huh?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So would you qualify yourself as understaffed as a...
Oh, absolutely. Come by and visit. You're more than welcome to volunteer, but yeah.
I'm giving you the opportunity as a nonprofit guy to remind everyone how understaffed and what kind of great work you do.
Thank you, and that's a very good point. There's a lot of cross-training that we do with our staff. We all pitch in. Everybody goes above and beyond their job descriptions to help out. So if you hear me mention some of the other ancillary programs, those are staffs that are working in programs that are provided funding from other sources who pitch in and work and provide those services to the students in these programs.
What would you describe your volunteer corps like in terms of your size and or amount of time that they give? I mean,
it varies. We have various volunteers that are adults. Some are college students. Some of them range on daily, maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. Some give 3 hours a day, but it varies. And obviously, during the nicer weather that we have coming up, we tend to get more volunteers. The weather's better.
so it's safe to say that the impact of the program, on some levels, immeasurable because you can't really measure the impact at home and the course of life that may be changed at because of the staying off the streets or being focused into energy focused into better areas than others.
Absolutely. The program goes till 9 p.m., so that 3 to 9 period is very critical for our at-risk youth to stay out of trouble. So, a lot of them, they might have made a mistake, but we give them the opportunity to expose them to other things and also to stay out of trouble during those peak hours. And the other ancillary thing that you mentioned that really impacts their families is the food. We don't do box food. We get the food catered in daily, and we always have enough to serve capacity, which would be 25 at any given time of enrollment. So if we're under capacity at the moment, say if we're serving 5 or 10 students, all that extra food that's ordered, we allow them to take it home to bring home to their families. And then once they have that, whatever's left over, then we go over to some of the local shelters before we take them home and they get to donate the food there.
Great. Well done, sir.
Mr. President. Speed has been around for a good many years, serving citizens of Newark, the students in particular. They're known for their academic enrichment. But this particular program offers alternative to detention. And we know any day that we can avoid a kid going into secure care detention is good. So the services, like the recreational services, the ancillary services I know that you provide, has a lot of value that we don't often always see. And the impact it has on the family in particular and the volunteers that you have working with the organization has always made a positive impact on the kids as well as the community.
Freeholders. Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to put on record, for 12 and a half years, I was a public school teacher in the city of Newark. 2 schools that I were affiliated with at the time had the program where Spira would come and pick up our youth and students after school. I thought it was a great program. I became pretty close to some of the folks that work for Spira and those that also volunteered. I also happen to know Mr. Valentine. I think that they run a great program, and I'm happy to support this again for another year as Freeholder.
Very good. Freeholders. Would agree with everything that's been said. Proud to support it. Keep up the great work, whatever we can do to help. Do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move. Second. I defer to my colleague across the way.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson, second by Freeholder Pomeroy. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Present, no vote.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Good. Go ahead, jump in.
Resolution 19, Office of the Board of Taxation Professional Services Agreement to provide auditing, accounting services, Samuel Klein and Company, $22,500.
Mr. Coltry.
This was a publicly advertised fair and open RFP. 2 firms submitted out of 19. It was scored by the Board of Taxation, and Samuel Klein and Company CPAs received the highest score for $22,500. They are the same vendor. They are located in the city of Newark also.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
Is this for the trust account in the Board of Taxation?
This is, I guess, for all of their accounts.
Because we, a year ago, the board as well as the administration reviewed a number of the constitutional trust accounts that had been audited in the past as well. And there was an initiative made to make sure that those trust accounts stayed more consistent with what particularly was to be paid to those trust accounts. So, if you could just find out for me what the results of some of those audits were to make sure that was followed through. So there were certain items that I looked at and certain items the administration looked at, so they have to be carved out of these trust accounts. So the auditor is looking at those items as well, making sure, previously when we looked at that those types of items are not being paid through these various trust accounts, including this one here.
Through you, Mr. President, I'm going to put my other hat on as the purchasing director also, and I also monitor them when various requisitions come in. So we are watching all the trust accounts and through our county council, watching what is being purchased through those accounts.
Not just the audit level, but obviously at the purchasing level.
Correct.
Administrative, but you're aware of what I'm talking about?
Yes, I am.
Freeholder Siebel.
Thank you. Sam Klein and Company does an excellent job for the county in many different areas, and Joe Facone and his entire staff do an excellent job.
Freeholders. Mover or second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebel.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Bauer. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 20.
Resolution 20, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Purchasing, contract award to Elite Transcripts to provide transcription services for all using county agencies, 20-month agreement, amount not to exceed $125,000.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Coltry.
Mr. President, this is a new non-fair and open bid exempt program for us. What we found out is the hospital center used transcription and various translating Then we found out that the Department of Corrections uses it also, and Department of Citizen Services also use it. So we went out to bid, and we found that Elite, which is a woman-owned company, and she is here, Amy Pepe, to explain the type of services she's providing for Essex County.
Good evening, Amy Pepe from Elite Transcripts. We are a company in Butler, New Jersey. We do certified court transcripts for between 15 and 20 counties and municipalities in the state. We've been in business for over 20 years. I just purchased the company as of January, but I've been working there for about 17 years.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchia?
No question.
Ms. McInerney? Freeholders? The mover in a second?
So moved. Second.
So moved by Freeholder Mercado, second by Freeholder Palmares. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Very good. Moving to resolution number 21.
Resolution 21, Department of Health and Rehabilitation Division of Hospital Center Emergency Contract with Gourmet Dining Services for operation of food services at the Essex County Hospital Center, 4 months of payment to June 1st, 2018, amount not to exceed $600,000.
Mr. President, this is an emergency contract with Gourmet Dining. We have to feed our residents at our hospital center, and I think under the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the county, this is an emergency. What has happened is we have gone out for bid for this particular contract that's on the street right now, and we need a 4-month extension to make sure we are feeding the residents of the hospital center. And we have a representative from Mr. Delgadio's office.
Patricia Keenan, Essex County Hospital Executive Director. As he stated, it is an emergency. We had some miscommunication with regard to the contract extension, so we're asking for the emergency funding. It went out to bid today, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Parlavecchia?
Yep. Mr. Coltry, the extension amount, is that the current rate, the rate under the contract that expired?
It is. It's $27.72 per patient per day.
Thank you.
Ms. McInerney?
Yes, I discussed this with Mr. Del Guardio. There was some confusion as to when the bid should have went out. The bid is out now, and there is the need to fund the payments for the food for the patient. So again, I spoke to him a couple weeks ago about this. He made me aware of it. And I understand it. You have to do it. The bid didn't go out when it should have went out. It has to go out. It's actually going out now.
The fiscal impact, Mr. McInerney?
I'm sorry?
The fiscal impact?
Fiscal impact is we're paying what we would have paid anyway.
Okay.
If we just had extended the contract. Whether or not the new contract will be less, that would be the difference.
Right.
If we had gotten a contract 4 months earlier, that would have been less, then you could say there's a disproportionality. There's a loss. But for all practical purposes, it's highly likely that this organization is going to bid the contract as well.
Possibly.
Okay.
There's really no choice to it, in terms of the need. It is an emergency based on just the fact that the date of the bid was miscommunicated, and that's how it was explained to me.
Okay. But it's not, there's no, through the administration and from, both Ms. McInerney and the administration, there's, in terms of a budget impact.
It's funded for 12 months of the year, whether
So-
it's paid to this vendor or any other vendor.
Right, okay. Okay. Freeholders?
10 more minutes.
A mover in a second?
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Palmaris, second by Vice President Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Bauer.
Yes, you said.
Freeholder President Gill.
President not voting.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 23. 22, excuse me.
Resolution 22, 2018 County Budget Insertion of Items of Revenue from the State of New Jersey, Division of Criminal Justice for Body Armor Replacement Fund, Office of the Sheriff, $34,003.
Mr. Coltry.
This is a insertion of funds for body armor, which they have a useful life of 5 years. The last grant was for $33,000. This one's for $34,003, and it's for replacement of body armor.
Thank you, Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. Have a mover in a second.
So move it.
Moved by Freeholder Mercado, second by Vice President Richardson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 23.
Resolution 23, 2018 County Budget Agreement and Insertion, Items of Revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, Division of Family Assistance and Benefits, $55,329.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Coltry.
This is a federally funded for administration of low-income housing energy assistance. The program's been in effect since 1982, I'm sorry, and La Casa Don Padre is the administrator of the program.
Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. Do I have a mover and a second?
So move.
Moved by Freeholder Mercado. Do I have a second? Second by Freeholder Bauer. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 24.
Resolution 24, 2018 County Budget Agreement and Assertion of Items of Revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for Universal Service Fund, CWA and Administration, Division of Family Assistance and Benefits, $35,374.
Mr. Coltry.
Mr. President, this is a state-funded program. USF is an energy assistance program, and DFAB is responsible to make referrals to nonprofit services. This offsets DFAB employees for providing USF services.
Okay, Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions.
Freeholders. Do I have a mover and a second? Moved by Freeholder Bauer,
Second.
second by Freeholder Primaris. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolutions 25 through 37, which are all commendations. Freeholder Siebel?
Thank you. May I be included on number 35?
I'm sorry, Freeholder Siebel, 30,
35,
35?
yes,
Absolutely, no,
thank you.
no issue on my end.
Me also, on 35.
Absolutely. Any other additional changes? Vice President Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I'd like to be added to 35 and 36.
35, that's fine on my end. 36 is sponsored by Freeholder Siebold and Jones. Any objection to adding Vice President Richardson to 36?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you. Any additional?
Mr.
Field- yep,
President,
Field Bauer.
33,
33,
that's the cinema ad that we saw tonight.
yes, we will do that by, I believe, acclamation. So
Mhm.
all the honorees tonight will be acclamation, so you will be a sponsor.
Thank you.
Additional,
Yes, Your President.
Sure, Phil.
I'd like to be added to number 35 and 36.
35, we want to just go for acclamation?
Yeah.
We're getting close. Okay. 36 is
Winona's house.
it's Freeholder Siebold and Jones. I'm assuming no objection to adding Freeholder Mercado. Acclamation for 36? Okay, 35 and 36 by acclamation.
Mr. President,
Freeholder Primaris.
I'd like to request if I could be included in the Earth Day, number 37.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Acclamation?
I'd like to be included in, well, I didn't, I said personally, but I'm open to it.
37.
Do it by acclamation.
Yes.
Okay.
37, acclamation, Mr. President.
Very good.
Okay.
37.
Without objection, Freeholder Siebold?
No,
Okay,
good idea.
okay.
Got that?
Any other changes?
Yeah, but I would like to be added.
37?
Yes.
We're gonna do, I think we're gonna do acclamation on
Okay,
37.
great, great,
Yep.
okay.
I think seeing or hearing none, do we have a motion for,
Second.
yep, there we go, Freeholder. I like it, Freeholder Siebold, and did I hear a second, Freeholder from Mercado? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes,
So moved.
thank you. Reports of board committees. Freeholders, do we have any reports of board committees? Legislative reports, written communication, unfinished business, new business. Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, let's go to public comment. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any matter, please come to the microphone and state your name, address, and affiliation for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Okay. If there seeing none, Madam Clerk, let the record indicate that there is no one wishing to speak at this time. Freeholders, do you have, freeholder comment session. Freeholders, do you have any comments you would like to make?
Mr. President, just one.
Sure, Freeholder Palmeris.
I'd like to thank Freeholder Jones, who earlier brought out what I think is a subtle but a very important point about the not to exceed threshold, which I think today we add a little bit of visibility in terms of the issue not being very clear to us. So we have a very, I think, an excellent packet to be prepared. But one of the things that I think I would have benefited from today, and I don't know if I speak for others, but would have been, that was, if I recall correctly, $340,000, but we've in recent years spent about 60. And I completely understand and agree with Mr. McInerney's rationale for the inclusion of all the signs. That was one with the signs, to have all 29 signs included just in case. But we didn't really quite have perspective on there, and so if the average spending is about 64, 70,000, maybe even 100, 120, even if it was 150,000, that still falls well short of the not to exceed thing. And I understand the rationale, but I think I certainly would have benefited from that perspective, and I would like to request, maybe it's not necessary in every case, but I think in cases like that where there's a great discrepancy in the actual, what we expect to, and that, some rationale. I'm not saying we can't do the not exceed, or I'm not suggesting we don't do that at all, but a little bit more rationale so that we have more perspective. Perhaps it's just me as a new guy on the board, but I'm not in the rhythm of understanding that, so that would have been helpful to me today.
Mr. President?
Sure.
I'll put, again, my purchasing hat on, and what happens is we don't really know what the department is going to use at that particular time. And in this particular case, they only had 17 signs, but if we have an emergency or a storm during the course of the year, then to come back here again and again for various items, that's why we use not to exceed. What we try to do is calculate the best way to get to a level of saying it's $100,000 or $150,000 that you would need. There's a discrepancy at times, but we try to make it a level playing field.
And I don't debate that. I have no issue with the not to exceed level. I just didn't have any perspective of how much we spent in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And I didn't know that 17 signs have recently been done. And while I agree that all 29 signs, it's a consideration, I would think it's highly unlikely that all 29 signs get damaged. If it didn't happen in Hurricane Sandy and others, I don't think all 29 signs would be damaged. And they just haven't had the perspective of 17 signs have been recently restored. I think that's a proper term because we're trying to preserve the signs. As Luciano had eloquently, Freeholder Luciano eloquently described the history of it, so they're more than maybe just signs. It's not the exceed value issue that I have. It's that we didn't have the perspective of knowing why we were even close to that. And we didn't know that 17 signs, so it's unlikely those 17 signs will come back to maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but not 17 of those. And so it's highly unlikely you'll see those on that list again or for some time. But your point is well taken, and I don't take issue with that.
Thank you.
It's McInerney.
Yeah, I think you're on point. I think it's just a rational argument you're making as to why we would allocate 500,000. You could have, conceivably, you could have just the one price for every one of those different types of sign in that, and some estimate of what it might take, what may be the historical average of signs that, or what like we do with anything else in capital improvement, we kind of budget it, and say, we expect that there's going to be 25 signs this year. There is a big discrepancy between 62,000 and 500. So I'll kind of take back on the record what I had said before. I think your rationale is on point. And there are few contracts that come before us that have that level of discrepancy. But just so you know that what happens is that money gets encumbered against a line item in a budget, so it can't be spent anywhere else. Whether you use it or not, it's not till the end of the year or the end of the following year that those appropriations that weren't spent, the appropriation reserves will lapse and go back into fund balance. But I think that contract has to be looked at. I also have raised on a number of occasions when that contract has come before the board, that there's a discrepancy between having a whole sign refurbished and a unit cost per hour to fix it. So, you know, that too is a question that I've always had with that contract. So I think going forward, what you're saying is correct. We have to take that into consideration, but we really should look at that contract again.
I didn't, for the record, I didn't have an issue with the vendor or the quality of the work, but I think if you just look at the line item, 29 signs, $340,000, that seems quite high. But that's not even the reality, because we're not, apparently, unless we have some absolutely freak disaster in nature where we have to replace 29 signs in various locations throughout the entire county, that's not realistic either. So I think when you look at it, if I don't want to speak for you, Freeholder Jones, and please, I would ask you to chime in, but I think that when you look at the budget, you say 29 signs, $340,000, like, what kind of signs are these? They didn't sound like they were gold leaf, they were sound like they were gold plated almost, so. And that's what I'm more concerned is that not only did I feel a little unprepared for it in that respect, or out of context, but I think it's also that public perception as well.
Yeah, as I said, I think it's well-founded.
You need to look back at that again.
Yeah, one thing comment through I'm sorry, Billy Jones, one comment is they are gold plated. Literally.
They're gold leafed.
Gold leafed, yeah.
Gold plated, gold.
But my point is they are signs of extremely high quality, and you know, so and I think as Freeholder Luciano mentioned before, they're also were made, I think, in a special manner that, and this is not put on the record to justify expense, but just meaning that when you say that tongue in cheek, there's actually some truth to what you're to what you're saying.
I refer to a heavier dose of gold, perhaps.
Yeah.
Is what
I would suggest that, you know, I mean, the contract, I mean, since and I weren't during comment session, I mean, the contract has, you know, has gone through, been approved, and, you know, maybe what I would ask, since there's still both some concern, at least around, I think more, both process here and briefing for the board, that we, I'm gonna ask that, our staff, our clerk, and our council work, with the administration to, see if we can address some of the freeholders' concerns on these types of contracts, number one. And then number two, if we can, on this particular contract, maybe there's some steps we could take to monitor and make sure that we get a comfort level as we move through, if there's a way to do that.
I think it's always important to know what was spent in the prior year or the history.
Right. Sure, Ms. McInerney.
Yeah, I mean, that's, if, I guess, you know, my concern is, as I said before, is that issue about the repairs. I don't understand why that can't be, you know, part of the contract, and why it is the part of the contract.
Freeholder Jones.
And that is my concern.
Right.
About if there's a dent in it, you have to refurbish the whole thing.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Right.
You think of your house.
Yeah.
If you had a dent or whatever, then you take care of that. You wouldn't tear down the house and build another one, would you?
Right. Right.
But it's common sense.
Yeah. No, understood. Understood.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. Yeah, there's again, this is Freeholder comment session, so there's two issues that I think are being framed. One is how the board in the future will, how the information regarding these types of contracts will be presented to the board. That's one issue. And then there's the issue actually with this contract, which is Freeholder Jones's concern, echoed by Freeholder Palmaris and our budget council, which there still seems to be a little uneasiness, is the word I'm going to use, about when you have damage to a sign, why you can't itemize that particular piece of it, so of the contract. So what I'm requesting is to come back with is if there's a way, at least with this specific contract, that we could have a report back from the board once this assessment is made of the signs, which is, the question I put on the record, which they said they're not done with, so we could have some understanding of how they're gonna get to the contract is approved. So what we need now is to know, when they calculate this number, I think we'd like to report back to the board, how did they get to this number and how, when they do it this year? So when they assess the signs, bring us back how many, what they're doing, and how that cost was figured out.
So, Mr. President, are
Freeholder
you saying
Johnson.
you want to know what kind of damage was done to it?
I think, again, what I personally would like to know is the question of, how did you get to that number? How did you figure out what was the assessment of that number? And then going forward, how come we don't have that in the contract? Right now, we don't have that in the contract.
Mr. President, when you say the assessment of the number, the amount of signs, or what
And what's
is-
it's gonna cost, yeah.
Well,
What
I
the-
mean, there is a table of the cost per sign for repair.
Understood.
But the next question is the evaluation, and I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's the Parks Department, to
Yes.
make the evaluation on the sign, whether it broke, whether
Right.
it was hit by an automobile,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, because the discretion is in large part the Parks Department. What's the cutoff point for pulling the sign down?
Yeah, what's the
repair, I
cutoff
guess?
point for when when you're replacing the
Or
letter
you
versus
can
the
live with
post,
it,
or you
yeah.
pulling down, or you putting a brand new sign? What are you?
Well, that's it, a brand-new sign. Are there brand-new signs included in this?
Well, I think you're splitting hairs because it's called for restoration, but if the sign's replaced, they're just gonna say the sign was restored. So it doesn't matter if it's, in my opinion, it doesn't matter if it's a new sign or not, because the contract says restoration. Doesn't say replacement.
Or it doesn't say a new sign, that,
Doesn't say new sign either, but I would,
assume?
and again, I would assume, so I don't know if this I wanna say this, as a matter of fact, that there has been instances where they just replaced the whole sign.
But I could use some historic signs that were handcrafted.
Maybe they're not, maybe they stripped them down, that's what I mean. If it's a Freeholder Jones's point, if you just had 2 letters, but you replaced the whole thing, because it was only,
That's what it said.
it was 2 letters. So I guess we got some follow-up questions. We'll try to organize this a little bit more for you, to make sure it's specific. But I think there's the larger issue of these contracts, again, that are set at a sum not to exceed based on a very like I'm thinking the same thing. You got $340,000, but you only spent 17 last year. How did you arrive at 300? Yeah, I'm just throwing a number. They had 17 signs for that number.
So why that big lot?
Why the basis? So,
It's recent time to make, accidents occur.
right. So we'll try to put that together for you, Mr. Coltree, a little more order around it, and then see if we can get everyone's questions answered.
I'll be glad to put on Mr. Jackson's desk in the morning.
Oh, sure.
Here, thank you.
You get exactly. Okay, well, that'll be included. There's a clerk just noted for the record that will be included in the memo that we send to the administration post this meeting. Are there any additional comments? Freeholder Bauer.
Mr. President, May is on a national level, or at least in its original conception, a Bike to Work month. I think now it's Bike to Wherever You Want to Go month. And I thought it would be fitting and appropriate to do a resolution and perhaps highlight some of the trails around. Maybe the county probably has a bicycle master plan or bicycle and pedestrian circulation element of its master plan, and I thought it might be nice to highlight some of the projects in the pipeline, the projects that are done, some of the projects that we are working on, you are working on, and so on and so forth, so we can get a sense of what's going on and spur that on further.
Okay, through you, Madam Clerk, can we follow up that? Absolutely. We'll follow up. Freeholder Luciano?
Freeholder President, I just wanted to put on record that this Sunday, I know I spoke with Freeholder Jones earlier, this Sunday at Branch Brook Park, the county executive will have a program at 12 o'clock. It's the Cherry Blossom Bloom Festival. I know I've gone in the past with Freeholder Jones. It's a very nice little ceremony. It's also great for families. So I'm hoping the weather holds up. But if anyone's around, it truly is a really nice event.
Question?
12 p.m. on Sunday. Thank you.
It's all day Sunday, but the program is at 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all day Sunday, but the actual program on the stage is at 12 noon.
At 12, yes, yes.
Additional Freeholder comments, questions? I also wanted to thank the staff, thank the clerk and the Freeholder staff for our celebration of youth ceremony before the meeting today. The honorees were outstanding, and Freeholder Pomaris, I think you said it best when you said we're going to be okay, when you saw the caliber of young people that came before us again today. So thank you for the staff for your work on that. Thank you to the board for your participation in that event. Additional questions or comments? A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Meeting adjourned.